Now, welcome to our Post 1 tutorial. Yes, if today is the first time of this match, then make sure you tap on the subscribe button, share the video to your friends in other schools. My butcher students, let's spread a Post 1 tutorial all over Ghana. You understand? Yes. Now, I am coming to solve the additional mathematics solution to the additional mathematics, the standardized test. I'm solving all of them in this particular video, so make sure you look at it very well, you go through, and then how you solved it, you check whether the answer is correct or wrong. Yes. Now let's see the first question. A carpenter was to cut 240 meters of wood. So we have a wood which is 240 meters, and we are supposed to cut it into 10 root 2 meters. So we have a wood which is what? 240. And we have to cut it into 10 root what? 2, meaning we have to divide this one into 10 root 2. We have to divide into 10 root 2. 10 root 2, 10 root 2, 10 root 2. How many pieces are we going to get? How many pieces? So you can, this one is a direct division, right? Yes, this one is a direct division. It's not difficult. So we're going to have number of pieces. Number of pieces. We need to divide this one by the number of what? Division. So we have 240 meters divided by what? 10 root 2 meters. Don't forget meters will cancel meters. We're going to have 240 divided by 10 root 2. Now 10 will go into 240 how many times? 24 times, right? 0 will cancel. We're going to have 24 divided by root what? Root 2. Now you are not supposed to use calculator to solve this question. Yes. Now let's rationalize this one. How do we rationalize? The denominator is an irrational number. I have to multiply the numerator by root 2, denominator by what? Root 2. Now 24 times root 2 will give us 24 root 2. Root 2 times root 2 will give us 2. Now 2 going to 24 how many times? 12 times. So the answer is 12 root 2. We have to leave our answer in the form of surd. So the answer is 12 root 2. Don't use calculator to punch the answer. Now, okay, now let's move on to the next question. Now, question number 2. Question number 2. Now, given that log x minus 3 exponent 4x plus 1 now divided by log x minus 3. Now, the whole of this one is equal to 9. Is equal to 9. Now, we are to find the value of x. Now, we have to find the value of x. You see, this one is so simple. Yeah, I'm going to go straight away to find the value of x. This one is so simple. How am I going to solve this question? Now look at the log here is log s minus 3. This one is log s minus 3. This one is having the exponent of 1. This one is having the exponent of what? 4x plus 1. Don't forget our law of indices. Now, for a simple approach, we don't have any division of logarithm. When two logs are divided, we don't have any rule for that. Yes, so what I have to do is to try to do cancellation. Don't forget that I have explained logarithm in one of my videos. Go and check logarithm on the playlist, then you learn more from there. Now, the property I'm going to use is that now when we have log a exponent, and don't forget that we can bring the exponent at the back of the log, which is the same as n log what? Log a. So bringing the exponent at the back of the log. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. Now I'm going to do it like this because this one is log s minus 3. This one's log s minus 3. You get it? Now, so bringing this one at the back, we're going to get what? 4x plus 1 log x minus 3. Now divided by log x minus 3. Now this one is equal to 9. We have log s minus 3, log s minus 3. This one and this one will cancel out. So we're going to have what? The top one, which is 4x plus 1, is equal to what? 9. Simple like that. You see how simple it is? Yes. Now, so we have 4 is equal to 9 minus 1. 4a is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 4. We are going to get 2. So s is equal to 2. Very simple. If you don't understand, you don't understand. That is why I said go to my playlist. Go and check logarithm. You'll see some of the videos there. Learn more about logarithm. Yes. Now let's move on to the third question. Now let's look at this question. Now the question says that given that f of x is equal to find its inverse. Now I'm not going to do a lot of explanations here, but don't forget that when you talk about f of x is the same as the codomain or the range. You understand? The same as the codomain. Now the codomains are the values of what y. So I can say that let f of x be equal to y, then it means that if f of x is equal to y, it means y is equal to this. Now replace the f of x with y. We're going to have y is equal to what? Root x minus 1, because the f of x is y. I hope you understand. Yes. Now we are looking for the inverse of what? F of x. Now the inverse means that we are just moving back to the values of x. Yes. Moving back to the values of x. That is getting the object or the domain back. Yes. I don't want to do a lot of explanations here, but let's move on. Now if you want to find the inverse of a function, after representing y as this one, you interchange the variables. Interchange x and y. Now this one means that s is equal to y, meaning where you see x you put y there, where you see y you put s there. Now I can see y here, put x there. I can see x here, put y there. Now at this point you try to solve for y, make y the subject. Then you make y the subject. Now the moment you make y the subject, that's the inverse. It is so simple. Yes. Now let's make y the subject. We need to square both sides. So I need to square this one. Squaring this one to cancel y minus 1, right? So we're going to have what? S squared plus 1 is equal to y. You see? Therefore, the inverse of x is equal to s squared plus 1. This one is simple like that. You interchange the variables, you make y the subject. That is all. Now let's look at the fourth question. Now the fourth question says that a sequence is defined by u n plus 1 equal to 3u n minus 4. Minus 4, where the n is greater than or equal to 1. And then we have if u1 is equal to 3, find u3. Now we are supposed to find u sub 3. Now this one is under sequence and series. Don't forget that. Check my playlist, you get sequence and series there. Yes. And then I'll upload more videos. Yes. Check how we get sequence and series there. Now, by the definition of this one is called a recurrent sequence. Yes, recurrent sequence. Now, we have this one, the n is the number of terms. N is from 1 going greater than or equal to 1. So which means n can start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that order. Yes. Now, so if you look at this particular one, the moment I start with the first one, n is equal to 1, don't forget we have u is equal to 1 here. And we're looking for u is equal to 3. Yes, a u3. u sub 3, meaning the n is equal to 3. Now let's look at something here. If I start with the first number n is equal to 1, I'm going to replace all the n with 1. So I'm going to get 1 plus 1, which is 2. So at this particular point, I'm going to get what? U2. So since I have U1, then let me solve for U2. I have U1, let me solve for U2 before I solve for U3. That is how we solve. So let me solve for U2. So for U2, I need to continue by stating n is equal to 1. N is equal to 1. N is equal to 1 because n stands from 1 going. Don't forget that's supposed to be possible whole numbers. Yes. Now, n is equal to 1. Now, where you see n, put 1 there. So I'm going to have u 1 plus 1 is equal to 3 u, the n is 1 minus 4. Now, this one will give us what? 1 plus 1 is 2, u2. And this is how we can get a u2. Now, don't forget we have 3 times u1. u1 was given in the question as 3. So I have u1 will be 3 minus 4. Now, what will be the answer for u2? 3 is 9 minus 4, which is what? 5. Now, u2 is equal to 5. Now, if I want to get u3, then I need to move another one. When here is 2, 2 plus 1 will give us 3. Then I'm going to get the answer for u3. Now, so for u3, I need to continue n is equal to what? 2. Now, let's put n is equal to 2. You're going to get what? u2 plus 1, 3, u2 minus 4. Now, don't forget that 2 plus 1 will give us 3. So, u sub 3. Now, 3 times u2. u2 is equal to 5. So, I need to put 5 here minus 4. So, u3 will give us what? 3 times 5 is 15 minus 4. So, what will be u3? Is 11. Now, you see how simple it is? This one is very simple. This one is very simple. You can see that the elective math is much more simple than the common math, right? Yeah. Now, let's move on to the fifth question. The fifth question. Now, with the fifth question, the question says that 5 now evaluate the determinant of a matrix A, which is minus 4y 3, 6, 5. If y equal to negative 2. Now, the question says we have to find the determinant of A. And the A is a matrix. This one is 2 by 2 matrix. Now, this one is equal to, and then the value for y is given as what? Negative 2. Now, how do we solve determinant? Don't forget our two determinants on my YouTube. Go and check matrix on my the playlist. You're going to see matrix there. Then you go through. This is how you solve for determinant. Now, determinant of A. Of A, which is the same as this. How do we find determinant of A? Now, example, if I have A to be A, B, C, and then D. If I want to find determinant of this one, that is determinant of what? This. You multiply the diagonals. That is A times D. You multiply this and this. A times D will give us what? AD. A times D will give us AD. Minus, you multiply the non-diagonals. C times B will give us what? BC. Now, this is how we find the determinant. That is all. So, you multiply this one is called the leading diagonal. Yes. And this one is called the non-diagonals. Now, we multiply this one by this one. That is A times B. Minus the B times what? The C. So, how are you going to solve? Determinant of this one, it can also be written as this. Minus 4y 3, 6, and then what? 5. It can also be written as this. multiply this one by this. So minus 4y times 5 minus you multiply the 6 by 3. 6 multiplying what? 3. That is all. It is very simple. Very, very simple. Now minus 4y times 5 will give us minus 20y, and then 6 times 3 will give us 18. Now don't forget that the y is negative 3. So let me put y is equal to negative 3 here. So we have negative 20 multiplied by y, negative what? Y is negative 2 minus 18. Now minus 20 times minus 2 will give us what? Positive 40 minus 18. Now I subtract this, and what are you going to get? 22. It means the determinant is 22. Yes, this one is determinant of 2 by 2 matrix. Now let's move on to the 6 questions. Don't forget this one, we are solving 10 questions. Let's move on to the 6 questions. Now you see that the relative math is more simpler than the core math, right? People think the core math is very simple than relative math. It's relative math. If you know the concept, that's all. You know the approach, that is all. Now let's move on to question number 6. Question number 6. Find the acute angle. Find the acute angle. Acute angle formed between the lines. Between the lines, y is equal to 19x minus 5 and y is equal to 6x plus 4. Now let's see how you're going to solve this question. Now you are looking for the acute angle between two lines. Now when you are looking for the acute angle between two lines, you know you can find the reflex angle and the acute angle between two lines, right? Yes. Now if you have two lines and you want to find the acute angle, you just have to know your formula then. Since two lines are given, you can use the gradient method to solve for the acute angle. Now, how are you going to get the acute angle? What's the formula? Is that now the acute angle is theta. Now I'm using theta to bring the acute angle. This one is equal to absolute of what? M1 minus M2 divided by 1 plus M1, M2. Now, what is M1 and M2? M1 and M2 are the gradients of the individual lines. You know, we have two lines. So I'm going to use M1 to represent the gradient of the first line, then M2 to represent the gradient of the second line. So which means that what we have to do is to find the gradient of the first line, M1, then the gradient of the second line, what? M2. Then I'll come and substitute into this one. Yes. Now, so let me consider the first line. The first line is y is equal to 19x minus 5. Now, how am I going to find the gradient of this one? Let's compare this one to y is equal to ms plus c. Don't forget the coefficient of x will give us what? The gradient. So I'm going to use this one as my m1. So the coefficient of x here is 19. Coefficient of x here is what? Is m1. So it means that we are going to have m1 to be 19. So the gradient of the first line is now 19. Now, let's take the second line. Y is equal to minus 6x plus 4. Let's compare this one to what? Mx plus c. Now, let me indicate this one as m2. So the gradient of the line y is equal to minus 6x plus 4 is the coefficient of the x, which is negative 6. So it means that compare my m2 is equal to what? Negative 6. Now, the next thing you're supposed to do is that you substitute into this particular equation or this particular formula. The formula is tan theta is equal to absolute of m1. What is m1? Is 19. Minus m2, don't forget m2 is negative what? 6. Divided by 1 plus m1 times m2. So m1 is 19. Now multiply by m2. m2 is what? Negative 6. Now at this particular point, you simplify, then now this is 19 plus 6, which will give us what? 25. Now at this particular point, I'm going to get 19 times negative 6 . 19 times negative 6, everything will give us negative 1, 1, 3. Now don't forget that the absolute value requires for only negative what? Only negative numbers. So we're going to have tan theta will give us what? 25 divided by 1, 3. Absolute of a negative number is a positive number. You get it? Now how do we get the theta? You find the tan inverse of what? The tan inverse of what? 25 out of what? 113. Now what is tan inverse of 25 out of 113? We are going to get 12.48 degrees. Now this one is to 2 decimal places. Now this is the acute angle between what? The two lines. This one and this one. The acute angle is now 12.48 degrees. It's as simple as that, right? This one is to 2 decimal places. Yes, 2 decimal places. Now let's move on to the next question. Question number 7. Now, so with the question number 7, this one is under vertices. Now, this one says the vertices of parallelogram reservoir are at. Now, question number 7, the vertices of a parallelogram. Now, it says parallelogram reservoir. Now, I don't want to include a reservoir because a reservoir makes the thing a little bit confusing. So, I'm not going to include a reservoir. Are at Q. Now, the Q is 6, -1. P, 5, 1. S, X, 9, 3. And we have T. T, X, X, and Y. Find the coordinates. Now we have to find the coordinates of T. At this point, we have to find the coordinates of T. Now let's draw a parallelogram. Now this is my parallelogram. Now what do you know about parallelogram? Two lines are parallel. Now so this line is parallel to this one. This one is also parallel to what? This one. So if I want to label it, the vertices, we have the vertices Q, P. Now Q is -1. The P, which is what? 5, 1. The S, which is 9, 3. And then T, which is X, what? Y. Now these are the vertices of parallelogram. Now one thing you're supposed to know about parallelogram is that the this side and this side are parallel. Now when this one and this one are parallel, it means that the QP is supposed to be the same as the TS. QP is the same as what? TS. QP is the same as TS. Don't forget, the same as QT is also the same as what? PS. So you can use any of them to get the answer for the coordinates of what? The T. So what you have to know is that QP so is the same as what? Is the same as TS. QP the same as TS. Now what's the formula for QP? The QP the same as position vector of the P minus position vector of what? Of the q. Now don't forget that you know this one already, right? Now this one, the position vector of the x minus position vector of the t. You get it? Now don't forget that the p was given to be what? 5, 1. This p was given to be 5, 1. Minus this q, the q was given to be 6 minus 1. Now equal to the x. What is the x? The x was given to be what? 9, 3. Minus the t. Now the t is sy. It depends on how you want to solve it, but I don't want to do anything complicated here. So I'm going to write xy here. But I'm not going to solve anything. I'll just group items to get the answer. Now, how do we add this one? We're going to add this one plus this one, give us what? To give us 5 minus 6. Now, here will be 1 minus 1. Now, I'm not going to add this one. I will just group items. So, we have 9, 3, xy. Now, let me clean this one and then continue the solution here. We are just looking for the coordinates of what? Now let's add this one. 5 minus 6 will give us minus 1. And then this is minus will give us 2. Now equal to 9, 3, and then minus what? Xy. Now let me group like this one will come here to be xy equal to 9, 3. Now this one will close it to equal to and becomes what? Minus 1, 2. I hope it's simple. Yeah, it's simple. This one is a t. So we're going to have xy equal to 9 minus 1, 3 minus 2. So we have xy is equal to what? This one will give us 10. This one will give us what? 1. Have you said it? Very simple. Now, so it means that our t, which is xy, is now equal to what? 10 and then 1. Now, this is how simple it is. Yes, this is very simple as ABC. Yes, very simple. So you can just do it this way, then you are done. Now let's move on to the next question. Question number 8. Question number 8. Take one marker for me. Now let's move on to question number 8. Now question number 8. Question number 8. Given that one over 9 1 minus 1 is equal to 27 exponent 4 minus 3x. Now we are to express y in terms of x. Now this simply means that we have to make y the subject. Yes. Now let's move straight away. We are solving this one straight away. Now because this one is 9, this one is 27, I'm going to reduce all the bases to a base of 3. Reduce all the base, which is 9 and 27, to a base of 3. Don't forget that 9 is the same as 3 exponent 2. The 27 the same as 3 exponent 3, right? Now, so I'm going to get 1 over 9, which is 3 exponent 2, multiplying the exponent y minus 1. Now, equal to the 27, which is 3 exponent 3, multiplying the exponents. Now, make sure that you like the video, then you share. Let me see your suggestion at the comment section. I have this particular trigonometry in my playlist. Make sure you go there to learn more about this particular indices. Make sure you go there to learn more about indices. Yes. Now this one I'm going straight away. Now by the inverse rule, this one the same as what? 3 exponent minus 2 y minus 1, 3 exponent 3, 4 minus 3x. Now this one is when you apply the inverse rule. Inverse rule, if you have exponent negative n, is the same as what? 1 exponent n. Don't forget. So the inverse rule. Now this one means that since the bases are the same, it means the exponents are also the same. So we're going to have minus 2 y minus 1 equal to 3, 4 minus what? 3x. Because the exponents are also what? The same. Exponents are the same. Now let's expand through. We're going to have minus 2y plus 2 multiply. We're going to have 12. 3 times 2 will give us minus 9x. Now let's group like terms here. I want this one to go to this side. So I'm going to have what? I'm going to have 2 minus 12 plus 9x equal to 2y. That is when the group like terms. I want the y to be negative. That's what I'm saying to the other side. Now this and this will give us minus 10 plus 9x equals to what? 2y. Now what do? We have to divide both sides by y. 8. We divide both sides by 2. So y is equals to, now let me interchange this one. The same as 9x minus what? 10 all divided by what? Divided by 2. Now this is as simple as that. Very simple. Very simple. Did you get it correct? Now let's move on to the 9th question. Question number 9. Now question number 9, we have these two questions. If lines 3x minus 4y minus 12 is equal to 0, and another line kx plus 6y plus 9 is equal to 0 are parallel. Find the value of the constant k. Now you see this question. Now we have two lines, this one and this one. They are parallel. Now when two lines are parallel, what does it mean? When two lines are parallel, it means that they have the same gradient. You get it? Now, so since this one and this one are parallel, it means the gradients are the same. So what I have to do is that I have to look for the gradient of this one and the gradient of what? This one. Now, since they are parallel, it means the gradients are the same. So I'm going to equate the gradient to get the value of k. So first, let's solve for the gradient of this one. Now, how do we get the gradient? You have to express this one in the form y is equal to mx plus c, just like how we solve for the sixth question. Yes. Now let's make y the subject. So I'm going to have 3x minus 12 is equal to what? 4y. Divide through by 4. We have 3x over 4. 12 over 4 is equal to what? 4y over 4. So we have y is equal to 4 will cancel 4. We have y is equal to what? 3 over 4x, and then minus 4 going to 12 how many times? 3 times. The gradient is the coefficient of x, which is 3 out of what? 4. I'm going to use m1 to represent the gradient of this one, which is 3 out of 4. Now let's take the second line. Kx plus 6y plus 9 is equal to 0. Let's find the gradient of this one. We make y the subject. So 6y is equal to what? Minus kx minus what? 9. Divide both sides by 6. So this one by 6, this one by 6, this one by 6. Y will give us what? Minus kx over 6 Now minus what? 3 will go in this one, 3 goes 1, 3 out of 2. So the gradient m2 is the coefficient of the x. Coefficient of x is minus k out of what? 6. Don't forget that we are comparing to y is equal to mx what plus c. So the gradient is the coefficient of what? The x. Now for parallel lines, it means that the m1 is equal to m2. Power lines have the same gradient. Now, so m1 is 3 out of 4. And then the m2 is minus k out of what? 6. So what do? We can just multiply through by 6, right? This one by 6, this one by 6. Okay, so we are multiplying through by, so we're going to have, I can even multiply through by minus 6, you get it? Okay, so 6 times 3 out of 4 will give us minus k. Don't forget that 2 will go into this one. 3 times 3 over 2 is equal to minus k. This one gives us 9 over 2 is equal to minus k. So what will be k? K is equal to negative 9 over 2. We are looking for k, don't forget. So it means k, negative 9 out of 2. K is equal to negative 9 out of 2. K is equal to negative 9 out of 2. Exactly. Negative 9 out of 2. So that's all. That's the value for k. Now let's look at the next question. Now the last question is under trigonometry. So this is the standard test. That is why you need to study more. Now make sure you like the video. We are helping you to pass your WASI. The only thing you can do to help us is just to leave a comment, you like the video, then you share. That's all. Let your friends also benefit from this one. Yes, we are all preparing for the same examination. Now let's look at question number 10. Now question number 10, evaluate. Evaluate 1 over 1 plus cos 45. 1 plus cos 45. Leaving your answer in set form. Now we are to evaluate this one, then we leave our answer in set form. Now don't forget that this one is under trigonometry. And then when you check on my YouTube channel, go to trigonometry, we have so many questions on this one. Yes, and this one is very simple. Now the cos 45 is a special angle which is the same as root 2 out of 2. You get it? Cos 45 is a special angle. You're supposed to know. Yes, it's root 2 out of 2. Now, so let's have it. So 1 over 1 plus cos 45 is the same as, let's put the value of cos 45 here. Now we have 1 over what? 1 plus cos 45. Cos 45 is root 2 out of 2. Now, so at this particular point, you just have to simplify this one, then we are done. Yes. Now, this one is same as 1 divided by the denominator 1 plus root 2 out of 2. I want to write it like this so that it will be very simple for us to see it. Now, this one will be equal to 1 divided by the LCM of this one will give us 2. So the LCM will be 2. 1 going into 2, 2. So 2 times 1 will give us 2 plus root 2. Plus root 2, right? This one times this plus root 2. Now, let's change this one to multiplication, then reciprocate the second fraction. So we have 1 times what? 2 over 2 plus root 2. You see how the thing is? 1 times this one will give us the same thing, right? So 2 over 2 plus root 2. Now what can we do here? Now what we can do is to rationalize this one. How do you rationalize? You multiply the denominator. You multiply the conjugate of the denominator by the what? The numerator and the denominator. So conjugate of the 2 plus root 2 is 2 minus root 2 divided by 2 minus root 2. Then you multiply. This one is so simple, very simple like that. So it's just like said. Now we have 2 multiplying this one. 2 multiplying 2 minus root 2. Now the down one is difference of 2 squares. It's the same as 2 times 2, which is 2 squared, or 2 times 2, which is 2 squared. Yeah, minus this one and this one give us minus. And then we have root 2 times root 2. Yes, this one difference of 2 squared, don't forget. Any set multiplied by its conjugate is difference of 2 squared. So we have 2 multiplying 2 minus root 2 divided by, now 2 square is 4, minus the square will cancel the square, we're going to get 2. Now what are we going to get here? We're going to get 2 multiplying 2 minus root 2 divided by 4 minus 2 is 2. So what's going to happen is here, 2 will cancel 2. So the 2 will cancel 2. Then you've gotten our final answer to be what? 2 minus root 2. Because these 2 and these 2 will cancel. So this will be our final answer. Now this one is the end of the standardized test. Now this one was a 10 solid question just to test your understanding in mathematics within that particular semester. Now make sure you go through, you share to your friends, share post 1 tutorial. Make sure you leave more likes and then comment in the comment section. See you next time. Bye bye.